Ethan, taking advantage of my affection for him, would often bring up breaking up, and then quickly move on to another relationship. When that relationship ended, he would return to me. We broke up and got back together for 5 years. He initiated the breakups, and I handled the getting back together. Until one day, he chose to forgive his first love, who had once hurt him, and brought up breaking up again. You know, Emma is different to me. Don't come around anymore. If she sees you, she won't be happy. This time, as usual, I packed up all my things and left quickly. But later, when Ethan searched all over Wowie City to find me, I raised my hand to show him my left hand diamond ring. I'm getting married now. Don't come around anymore. He'll be upset if he sees you. When I had just finished washing Ethan's suit jacket and came out of the bathroom, a suitcase was suddenly thrown at me, hitting my knee painfully. I looked up to see Ethan leaning against the doorframe staring at me. His slightly messy hair fell over his forehead, and his beautiful peach blossom eyes were misted with emotion, like a perfect ink painting. If not for the words that followed, I might have complimented him. Lucy, let's break up. His casual tone was as indifferent as discussing what to eat tomorrow. I wiped my hands, red and swollen from the water, and didn't look up. Is it because of that college girl from the other day? Or because of the celebrity at the party demanding a commitment? Neither. He extinguished his cigarette, and his deep voice became unusually serious. It's Emma. I froze. Lucy, you know, Emma is different to me. Move out, don't come around anymore. If she sees you, she won't be happy. His tone was full of hidden tenderness, without realizing my pale face. Maybe he didn't care at all. I gripped my trembling hand and forced out. But don't you remember, It doesn't matter. At least now, I don't want to give up on her. So Lucy, move out today. Your things are packed. Just throw away what you don't need. With those light words, he had arranged everything for me. My throat was dry and painful. Okay. But the moment I turned around, tears uncontrollably flowed, hitting the ground. The kitchen still had the hangover soup boiling, and the sky outside seemed torn open, the heavy rain about to flood the whole city. My suitcase only had clothes inside. Everything else had been thrown in the trash. Like countless times before, I opened the umbrella and stepped into the rain, my mind flashing with memories like a revolving lantern. Ethan was the son of the richest man in the city. But then, his family fell from grace, and he was sentenced to prison. At 17, Ethan transferred from the best private school in the city to a small town's high school. Even so, a prince is still a prince. He was good-looking, and his fashion sense made the local boys jealous. Especially his beautiful peach blossom eyes, which always attracted many infatuated young girls. And Ethan welcomed them all. Today with one, tomorrow with another. Perhaps because of his dazzling charm, I always avoided his spotlight. But it seemed like Ethan saw me as an interesting toy, occasionally teasing me. Because when I was a child, my parents were never home, and when I had a high fever, no one cared. As a result, I became a bit slow in thinking. So, no matter how hard I tried, my grades remained in the middle to lower ranks. But Ethan, from a young age, had professional tutors and always ranked at the top, even if he didn't study much. As his deskmate, he often saw me at my most awkward moments. Little deskmate, you got 9 out of 10 questions wrong. You might as well fill in C for every answer. You'll at least get 4 right. English was my weakest subject, but Ethan could speak fluent English. His teasing made my face blush, and I wished I could sink into the ground. But when others laughed at me, Ethan's face would suddenly turn cold. What are you laughing at? You guys got 10 questions wrong and you still have the nerve to laugh at others? That was when I suddenly realized that Ethan looked even better with a cold face. Later, we grew closer. Ethan tutored me, and we often ate at my house. Some people would ask him, Lucy is not bad looking, and she's your deskmate. Why haven't you dated her? Back then, Ethan would casually shake his head. She's too dumb. What if she gets too upset? And that single sentence shattered any fantasies I had. Later, Ethan started dating again. But this time, it seemed different. He stopped skipping classes and flirting with other girls. He went to school with his new girlfriend, prepared birthday surprises, and even planned to attend the same university. Everyone thought he had changed. But suddenly, they broke up. Soon after, the news of Ethan's father going to prison was revealed. Additionally, his mother's frequent rendezvous with other men in luxury cars spread around the school. Ethan's reputation was completely ruined, and even the girls who once liked him began to criticize him behind his back, including Emma. It wasn't until later that I learned she was behind the gossip. The multiple blows left Ethan in a deep depression, and he stopped coming to school for a long time. It wasn't until mid-autumn festival that my mom asked me to bring him some mooncakes she had made, that I finally had the courage to knock on the door next door, but no one answered. When the police arrived, they found that Ethan had not eaten or drunk anything for days and had collapsed. The moment he was lifted onto the stretcher, I suddenly remembered. He was just a 17-year-old boy. When Ethan was carried onto the stretcher, I suddenly realized that he was just a 17-year-old boy. During his entire hospitalization, I stayed by his side, taking care of him. Our relationship seemed to grow closer. On the day we filled out our college applications, Ethan wrote down the same school as me. When he turned 18, he asked me for a birthday gift. "Lucy, let's be together." That's how we naturally became a couple. But I forgot that I wasn't Emma. I wasn't capable of making him see only me. In our second year of college, he received a love letter from another girl. We had a huge argument and he broke up with me. Later, he did indeed get together with the girl who had sent the letter. But within 2 months, they broke up. While I was licking my wounds alone, he showed up in front of me, bruised and battered. Ever since the news about his mother came out, he had stopped using her money. For the past few years, he had been making money through street racing and boxing. I softened. In the following years, whether out of habit, numbness, or love for him, I never let go. He too had accepted the way we interacted. When we broke up, I would swiftly give way to his next girlfriend. When we got back together, I would buy new things and move in again. But tonight's rain was too heavy. It felt like I was drowning in this rainy night, unable to return. That night, I found a hotel to stay at, and also booked a flight ticket back home. Then I contacted the landlord to cancel my rental in High City and wrote my resignation letter, which I sent to Ethan's email. Ethan was indeed very smart. Even without his family, he could start a business on his own. I had been following him since the day he opened his company. We drank, socialized, secured our first project, and watched the company go public. Until now, his position in High City was unshakable. He once told me to always stay with him. But now I understand. The one who would walk with him forever wouldn't be me. After finishing everything, I was exhausted and fell into a deep sleep. The next day, I was woken up by a call from a friend. "Lucy, you broke up with Ethan again?" Her voice was full of frustration. "I've never seen anyone more pathetic than you. Your boyfriend says to make room for someone else, and you just let him? This isn't the first time. Can't you be a little stronger? Ethan knows that you'll always forgive him. That's why he dares to act so recklessly." She ranted, but I didn't respond to a single word. My attitude left her surprised. "You actually let me badmouth Ethan." I was known for always defending Ethan. Once, when I heard someone badmouthing him behind my back, I lost control and smashed a bottle on their head. No one ever dared to speak ill of Ethan in front of me again. "You're right. Hey, wait. My unexpected attitude made her unable to say anything further. "Forget about him. I called you because I need you to pick me up. I've had a bit too much to drink and it's still raining outside." The heavy rain from last night was still drizzling, and the cold air coming through the window blew away any remnants of my drowsiness. "Okay." In the bar's private room, both Ethan and Emma were present. My eyes fell on the suit jacket Ethan was wearing, and a bitter feeling spread across my chest. Ethan was never short of women by his side. Over the years, he had flitted from one girl to the next, indulging in late-night parties. He loved novelty and once swore that he would never go back to someone he had already been with. Just like how he didn't like to wear the same expensive clothes twice. But the suit jacket that Emma had given him was an exception. Among all his valuable clothes, that suit was the cheapest looking. But he not only liked wearing it, he even insisted on hand washing it. And today, the very jacket I had washed for him yesterday was worn to meet Emma. In the past, I had secretly rejoiced in his no-return stance, because I thought I was his exception. But when Emma appeared, I finally realized, maybe I wasn't even worthy of being his exception. After all, it was always me who begged to get back together. He didn't need to look back at me, he just knew I would always be there. When Ethan saw me, he frowned. clearly not happy. I knew he was worried that Emma would see me and get upset. While I was bending down to help my drunk friend, Emma suddenly fixed her eyes on the necklace around my neck. "Lucy, is that a ring? It looks pretty nice." I only then realized that I was still wearing the ring Ethan had given me. It wasn't an expensive ring, but it was the first gift Ethan bought for me with the first profits from his company. He had personally put the ring on me and promised forever. "Lucy, this ring will keep you tied to me tightly. You will never escape." Later, as we earned more money, he wanted to buy me an expensive diamond ring. But I still preferred this ring. I treated it like a treasure, afraid to damage or dirty it, so I always wore it around my neck. I had gotten so used to it over the years, but I could see the dissatisfaction in Emma's eyes. Without thinking for even a second, I took the necklace off. "Do you like it? You can have it." Clink. Ethan's wine glass shattered in his hand. His face darkened immediately. Emma's displeasure grew even more, and she leaned closer to Ethan, holding his hand. "No need, my boyfriend will buy me one. Won't you, Ethan?" Ethan's expression softened visibly. "Of course Emma deserves a better ring. This one is not good enough for you." A direct slap in my face. The gazes around us were full of pity. After all, everyone in the private room knew about Ethan and me. My loyal puppy image had deeply rooted in everyone's minds. I didn't say anything more, just casually threw the necklace with the ring into the trash bin. Ethan immediately stood up, his face turning ashen. "Lucy." Just as he was about to explode, Emma tugged at his arm. "Ethan, what are you doing?" Ethan's reaction was so intense. Emma's role as his girlfriend became ridiculous. Her reminder quickly made Ethan calm down. He curled his lips into a smile. "Lucy, you're not young anymore. It's time to settle down and find yourself a boyfriend. Let him buy you a bigger ring when you get married." Emma joined in, mocking me further. "Yeah, find a boyfriend. After all, always eyeing someone else's boyfriend isn't good, right?" In the awkward atmosphere, I nodded. "I will." After settling my friend that night, I got into the car heading to the airport. It seemed like High City was trying to rain out the entire year in just 2 days. Huge raindrops hammered against the car windows like hail. My eyes, however, were glued to Ethan's friend's circle page. It was a photo of their intertwined fingers. Both of them were wearing rings on their ring fingers. Emma's massive diamond ring was so dazzling it almost blinded me. Beneath the photo, many people, including some classmates from high school, were offering their blessings. I can't believe after all these years, the one who finally captured Ethan's heart is still Emma, the campus beauty. Campus heartthrob and campus beauty, the perfect match made in heaven. They weren't wrong. The first time I saw Emma, I immediately understood why she was the only girl Ethan had ever pursued actively. She was stunning. While others were still tying their ponytails, she already had long, slightly curly hair. Her skin was fair, and her facial features were delicate. No matter how beautiful other girls were, they seemed to pale in comparison to her. Years later, when I returned to the country under the neon lights of the bar, her beauty seemed even more pronounced. In a place where no one was paying attention, I saw Ethan's hand trembling, almost knocking over his wine glass. That moment, I knew he still hadn't forgotten her. Before boarding, I blocked all of Ethan's contacts and turned off my phone. The autumn air in the small county was filled with the fragrance of osmanthus flowers. I immediately spotted the figure waiting outside the airport. A wave of emotion hit me and I almost shed a tear. I ran up and hugged him. "Dad, I'm back." Just come back, just come back." My dad smiled, causing wrinkles to form on his face, and then turned to drape a coat over my shoulders. The cold, damp air was blocked outside, but the tears I had been holding back came rushing down. Yesterday, in High City, as the rain poured down, Ethan didn't care if I was cold, wet, or whether I could get a ride. But today, after the rain cleared in Hawaii City, someone put a coat on me and took me home. Once home, I was met with a table full of food, and my mom endlessly asking questions. "Why did you lose so much weight? Must be tough working out there. How many days did you take off? Why don't you stay a bit longer? In a month, it'll be Mid-Autumn Festival. Why don't you stay through that?" While talking, she kept adding food to my bowl. I choked up, feeling a pang in my chest, and finally spoke. "I resigned. I'm not leaving anymore. I'm going to stay here and rely on you too." My mom froze, and after a long pause, her face broke into a smile. You resigned? That's good. Don't worry, your dad and I earn enough for you to live off for your whole life. When we retire, we'll put all our pension savings aside for you. Forget about working, you're already exhausted enough. I forced a smile. Actually, my parents never wanted me to work in high city. Because I was a little slower to pick things up than others, they were afraid I'd get taken advantage of by the complexities of life. They had hoped I would stay in Y City after graduation, become a teacher like them, or find some other stable job. But back then, I was all about Ethan. I couldn't bear to leave him, nor could I leave at such a crucial stage of building our business together. But I never expected to stay for 10 years. In those 10 years, I came back so rarely. Every time I returned, it was less than a day before Ethan would call me back with some excuse. It seemed like he didn't like me coming back to Y City. Maybe it was because this place held all his bad memories. In the end, I found a job at a library close to home. In these years, my salary and share dividends had accumulated into quite a sum. I was so tired, I just wanted a little peace. But unexpectedly, that very day I received a call from Ethan. Lucy, what the hell is going on with you? You threw away the ring, deleted WeChat, blocked me, and even dared to write a resignation letter. Are you out of your mind? Add me back immediately, or don't expect me to ever add you again. His voice was hoarse, but his irritation was evident. Maybe I had been too compliant for too long. So much, so that I needed to clench my fist to muster the courage to reject him. Ethan! I tried to make my voice sound calm and collected. We've already broken up. Ha! Ethan sneered without any restraint. Lucy, playing the same tricks once is enough. Playing it over and over again is pointless. I understood what he meant. There was a time when he had allowed his new girlfriend to enter the company and ruin a project I had worked on for 3 sleepless nights. I was just as furious, so I submitted my resignation, blocked all his contacts, and bought a ticket to go abroad. That was the first time I had been so decisive. Ethan, for once, had seemed a bit panicked and called me. I broke up with her. Just those 4 words made my anger dissipate instantly. I bought a plane ticket back that same night. So, naturally, he assumed that this time, I was just using these actions to force him into compromising again. When I didn't respond immediately, he thought I was taking it in, and casually said, "Since you know you were wrong, come back quickly. I've caught a cold, my head hurts, and I need you here with me." I don't know why, but I asked, "What about Emma? Didn't she take care of you?" Ethan was impatient. "I've told you I have a cold. What if I give it to her?" In that moment, I felt like a complete fool, ridiculous beyond measure. I released my clenched fist. The weight on my heart seemed to lift all at once. I didn't explain, just repeated those words. "We've already broken up. Ethan, this game of accompanying your nonsense ends here." I worked at the library for a few days, and that afternoon, my friend Nora, who worked at the hospital, took time off to meet me after work. She gave me a big hug as soon as we met. "Lucy, happy breakup. Let's go have a drink." The loud music at the bar made adrenaline surge through me. All the emotions I had been holding back seemed to find their release. I danced wildly in the center of the dance floor, one drink after another downed. By the time we left, I was so drunk I could barely stand, leaning heavily on Nora. "I'm lucky I didn't drink too much, or we'd be sleeping on the streets tonight," I mumbled, trying to balance myself. Nora struggled to help me hail a cab, but none of the cars seemed to stop. As the sky grew darker, Nora took out her phone and called her boyfriend to pick us up. After a few minutes, a car suddenly stopped in front of us. When I saw the man stepping out of the car, Nora looked both surprised and conflicted. The man extended his hand. "Let me take her." With a sigh, Nora finally relented. "Take care of her." I was helped into the car. The cold air outside was blocked, and the car smelled faintly of mint. The unfamiliar environment began to sober me up a little. With half-closed eyes, I saw the man leaning in to fasten my seatbelt. His sharp features, pale pink lips, and a small mole near the corner of his eye caught my attention. I stopped breathing for a moment, but quickly laughed at myself. "Guess I'm really drunk, I'm hallucinating." I muttered, then tilted my head and fell asleep. "Lucy, you haven't been back for a long time, right? There's this super popular hot spring resort up in the mountains now. It's become the must-see spot in our city. Let's go, how about we go soak in the hot springs?" I was free that day and had been wondering who had sent me home the last time, so I agreed immediately. When we got there, I realized that the once backward small town I remembered had now become quite developed. Tourists were flocking to the hot spring resort to take photos. Bill somehow managed to reserve the quietest, most comfortable spot. After a few casual chats, I was just about to ask him about the person who sent me home last time, when a large man suddenly walked over. He squatted down next to me, scanned me from top to bottom, and looked at me with an overly flirtatious expression. Nice figure, beautiful. Want to exchange contact information? Let's go out for a drink later. As he spoke, his hand reached toward my arm. A cold shiver ran down my spine as some old memories of fear resurfaced. Before he could grab me, Jack stepped in front of me. The man's neck was quickly pulled up by a force, and then punches started raining down on his face. The blows landed hard, and the man's screams echoed through the place. In the midst of the chaos, I saw his face, and my eyes instantly reddened. After the fight was over, Jack walked up to me. Our eyes met, and I couldn't even find my voice. It's been a long time, Lucy. The once young face I remembered had now grown into the handsome face of a man. His aura was calm and steady, as if the man who had just been beating someone up wasn't the same person. I choked up, holding back tears. It's been a long time, Jack. Jack. My real childhood sweetheart. We'd been in the same class from kindergarten all the way to high school. Our parents were always busy teaching, traveling for work, attending meetings. They were always too occupied to even come home on time, let alone take care of us. From a young age, Jack had always acted like an older brother to me. My mind was a little slow, and there were always people trying to bully me. When those street punks tried to scam me, and when I refused, they would resort to violence. It was Jack who repeatedly stepped in, beating up those bullies and protecting me as I grew up. Everyone knew that I was the girl under Jack's protection, and no one dared to bother me. But in my sophomore year, Jack's grandfather got sick and was taken to High City for treatment. He took time off to visit him. Before he left, he promised he would be back in 3 days. But 3 days passed and I didn't see him. I thought his grandfather must have been very ill, so I tried to call him to comfort him, but no one answered. That day, it rained heavily, and the sky was so dark that it felt suffocating. I held my umbrella and tried to avoid the crowds, calling him repeatedly. I didn't know why, but at that moment I felt a sense of unease. I wanted to hear his voice. But by the time I was drenched in the rain, the phone call still went unanswered. I kept reassuring myself. It's okay, he'll be back in 5 days. Or maybe 10 days. He'll come back. But 10 days later, Jack's grandfather came back, but Jack still hadn't returned. I broke down crying and ran to the principal's office asking, "Where's Jack?" The principal, who was also Jack's father, told me that he had transferred Jack to a school in High City. At that moment, it felt like the world was collapsing. After that, Jack seemed to have vanished from the face of the earth. I couldn't reach him by phone, and my messages were never replied to. When I went to High City for college, I even tried to find out where he was. I heard he had gone abroad to study. In any case, we lost contact for 11 years. Jack, you broke your promise. I cried in his arms, my heart breaking as if I were releasing all the grievances from the past 11 years. Where did you go back then? I refused to believe that Jack would just leave without a trace, without any explanation. Jack, did you think I was too stupid, so you couldn't even face me to say goodbye? Did you think I would change and become smarter, and then you'd come back to me? I used to ask myself this over and over again. Is it because I was too stupid, that I did something to upset him? Was that why he left me? Jack gently wiped away my tears. My Lucy is the smartest. Anyone who says you're stupid, I'll beat them up. Even after so many years, he still comforted me like I was a child. Then where did you go? What happened in these years? Why didn't you come to find me? I had countless questions I wanted to ask him. In his slightly panicked gaze, I pushed his hair back from his forehead. How did you get this injury? From the beginning, I had noticed that he was deliberately trying to hide the scar on his left forehead under his hair. It was a 3-centimeter long scar, faintly stitched up. I controlled his movement, which was trying to avoid the question, and firmly asked, Jack, tell me. Jack smiled helplessly. I'm afraid of you now. It was only from his mouth that I finally learned the truth. He hadn't broken his promise. On the 3rd day after he left, Jack came back and saw a few punks loitering outside the school gate. They knew he'd been away, so they planned to ambush me. When Jack saw them, he immediately got into a fight. In the chaos, One of the punks pulled out a knife and stabbed it into his abdomen, while another grabbed a steel pipe and smashed it onto his head. The crowd quickly gathered around. The blood was almost washed away by the heavy rain. It took emergency treatment to save his life, but his brain was severely damaged, and he had to go abroad for treatment. He was afraid that he might never come back, so he asked everyone to keep it a secret from me and told me he had just transferred schools. Later, after he recovered, he wanted to find me, but I had already moved on. Lucy ... He smiled bitterly. If I had known this separation would last so many years, I would have rather died ... Shut up! Don't say that. I covered his mouth, tears already flowing uncontrollably. You're such an idiot. I thought I was the biggest fool, but it turned out there was someone even dumber than me waiting for me all these years. He suddenly pulled me into a tight embrace. Then, would you still want me, this fool? His chest was as warm and fiery as it had been back then. I wrapped my arms around his waist. Fool matches fool. We're made for each other. That day, we went home together. When my parents saw him, they were overjoyed but not surprised. Surprised? What's so surprising? Jack comes to our house more often than you do. He brings gifts, fruits, and even spends the holidays with us. And the tourism industry that suddenly developed in Hawaii City, do you think it's all by chance? Do you think he stayed here for no reason? It was like my mom had been holding this in for years, and she blurted it all out in one go. The more she spoke, the more heartbroken I felt. I'm sorry, Stop apologizing. Jack took my hand, his voice serious. Lucy, I don't want you to be with me because you feel guilty. Do you understand? I felt a warmth in my heart. I understand. After dinner, Jack volunteered to wash the dishes. I was about to follow him when I suddenly received a call from Ethan. I had blocked one of his numbers, but he always found another way to contact me. It was as though nothing had happened. Lucy, Emma wants to eat the mooncakes you make. Please bring them to me after the Mid-Autumn Festival. I thought I would feel heartbroken, but instead, I felt only a faint irritation. My gaze followed Jack, who was washing dishes in the kitchen wearing an apron. Ethan, we've broken up. Don't contact me anymore. My boyfriend won't be happy about it. There was a moment of silence on the other end before Ethan burst into laughter. Boyfriend? Lucy, I didn't know you had learned to lie now. Looks like you've changed. What a shame though. If you told me you were both a man and a woman, I might actually believe you. I wasn't angry at his mockery. Instead, I returned the same words he once told me. Ethan, you're almost 30 now. Just marry Emma already, settle down early so you won't delay her anymore. Ethan immediately lost his temper. Lucy, what do you mean? Are you serious? I smiled. I've always been serious. He was furious. Fine. Lucy, don't regret it. Perhaps because of the joy of our reunion, I drank quite a bit that night. When Jack put me in bed and was about to get up, I boldly wrapped my arms around his neck. In my drunken haze, I heard his breath grow heavier. His hoarse, controlled voice came near my ear. Lucy, you're drunk. Stop messing around. The alcohol emboldened me in that moment. I stared at his lips and said provocatively, Your lips look like they're perfect for kissing, Jack. Do you mind if I give it a try? Before he could speak, I eagerly kissed him. Jack grunted and soon he took control, his movements turning aggressive. He was forceful and domineering, a stark contrast to the gentle version of him earlier. In the end, Jack held my restless hands, his eyes burning with intensity, as if ready to consume me. Lucy, if you're just pitying me, you still have a chance to back out now. I shook my head. It's not pity, it's love. The next morning, I woke up when the sun was high. As Jack was massaging my shoulders, I instinctively opened my phone and saw a screenshot from a friend. It was the news of Ethan announcing his marriage. The timing was rushed, just one day after the Mid-Autumn Festival. My friend was a bit wistful. After you left last time, you didn't see Ethan digging through the trash to find the ring you threw away. Emma was so angry her face turned green. I thought he still liked you, but after all these years of chasing, he ended up marrying Emma. I didn't react much. After glancing at the message, I quickly exited the conversation. On the Mid-Autumn Festival, our two families got together for a lively dinner and discussed the wedding. We decided on a date for the wedding. That evening, Jack took out a pair of rings and formally proposed to me. The rings were designed by him, with blue diamonds that were both luxurious and romantic. After putting the ring on, I took a photo and posted it on my social media. Less than a minute later, my phone was bombarded with messages and calls. I picked up one of them and it was Ethan. "Lucy, where are you right now?" His voice was trembling. "Why, City?" I heard something fall and shatter on the other end. For the first time, Ethan spoke in a desperate tone. "Lucy, I'll break up with Emma. Please come back." No. I hung up decisively. But Ethan still found his way to Y City. In the misty rain, golden osmanthus petals were scattered everywhere. "Lucy, I broke up with Emma. Just like the old days. But I was no longer the same person. I wouldn't give up everything and run back to him just because of his words." "Is that so?" I raised my left hand and smiled slightly. "I'm getting married." Ethan's whole body trembled. His beautiful almond-shaped eyes were filled with tears. If it had been before, I would have softened at the sight of him looking at me like that. But that was in the past. As for now, what does it have to do with me? Why don't you wait for me? You know, I would always come back to you in the end. Yes, he would get tired of the game and come back to me. But Ethan, no one will wait for you forever. He seemed to be heartbroken. Then if I promise I'll never act like this again, we'll get married right away, and I'll treat you right. Will you take me back? I smelled a faint mint fragrance behind me and smiled. Ethan, that Lucy who liked you and tolerated you was drowned in that rainy night and can't come back. His face went pale, and he couldn't say another word. On the day of the wedding, I wore the wedding dress Jack had designed for me. He hugged my waist from behind and gazed at me in the mirror, his eyes full of adoration. Truly beautiful. I smiled and asked, "How do you know so much? Did you study design abroad?" "Yes, I always wanted to design a wedding dress for us myself." "What if I didn't marry you? What would happen to the wedding dress?" He fixed my veil and said casually, "If you marry me, I'll personally put the wedding dress on you. If you don't marry me, I'll leave it at the bridal shop, and in the end, you'll wear it to marry someone else you love." At that moment, I didn't know whether to call him romantic or scheming. Just as Jack was about to take my hand to go out, Ethan suddenly burst in, panting and looking frantic. "Lucy, I need to talk to you." Jack looked wary and I patted his hand to reassure him. "You wait for me outside." He squeezed my hand. "Okay, I'll wait for you." Once Jack left, my expression turned cold. "What do you want to say?" Ethan extended his hand, and in his palm was the ring I had thrown away years ago. "You once said that no matter what happened, if I gave you this ring, you would agree to one thing. Lucy, don't marry him, please." In his pleading eyes, I shook my head. "Ethan, you once promised to love me for a lifetime, but you didn't keep that promise. Now, I think it's fair for me to change my mind. Please, Lucy, don't do this to me. His face was full of pain, and in a panic he grabbed my wrist. "I really regret it. You know, back then, my mother risked everything to help my father negotiate with his business partners to reduce his sentence. But he doubted her and chose to divorce her. Ethan, I'm afraid. So I kept testing you, trying to figure out what love really was, to make sure you would love me forever. But I lost you. Lucy, forgive me one last time, please. I swear I won't be like this anymore." I pulled my hand away and looked at him seriously. "You say you're afraid because of what happened with your parents, but have you ever considered that your behavior is no different from your father's?" Ethan straightened his back, despair slowly crushing him. "Can we really never go back?" I didn't answer, just turned to walk away. "Wait," he called after me, handing me an envelope. When I opened it, I finally understood why Ethan had always been afraid of me coming back to Wowie City. "Lucy, wait for me." It was Jack's handwriting from 10 years ago. He had always known that someone was waiting for me. At the wedding, I held Jack tightly, tears streaming down my face. "Fool, I'm here to marry you."